Hey Scream team! It sounds so weird to not be saying something that's wolf puppies. But what sort of a banshee would I be if I didn't watch a show called Scream? MTV's new show Scream is one of my new obsessions. I marathoned the entire show 2 weekends ago, so I'm now completely caught up and very excited, which is sort of weird to me because I don't actually like horror movies all that much because I am a scaredy pants who is very afraid of things very easily. When I watched the first Scream movie for the first time, I made it 75% of the way through, and then I had to pause it and pull up the Wikipedia page and read the ending because I was too afraid to keep watching because I was alone by myself in my house, and I was afraid that even though I wasn't in a town where people were routinely being murdered, Ghostface was going to come up to my front door and stab me in the stomach. I historically do not do well with horror movies because I have an overactive imagination, and I'm one of those people that's really good at, like, visualizing the killer just climbing up onto my roof and climbing into my bedroom window and murdering me, even though I'm pretty sure I haven't done anything wrong. But you know who else hasn't done anything wrong? Emma. Emma hasn't done anything wrong, and her life is still going pretty terribly because of a bunch of choices that she didn't make. So you can always be that one person, and I'm usually afraid that I am that one person. Nonetheless, Scream has been really, really good so far, and we just got renewed for season 2, so that's super exciting to learn. I've never watched a show from season 1 before, actually, I don't think, so I'm having a lot of trouble dealing with my feels because we, as a fandom, have not actually produced all that much yet. So I figured pitch in, do my part. But today, specifically, as you can probably tell from the title of this video, which I always forget is sort of a huge spoiler as to everything you're going to learn about in this video, today I am here to talk to you about Noah Foster. I know it's probably a huge shock to all of you that Noah is one of my favorite characters. Since when does Brittany like the cute high school boy who is super nerdy and wears a lot of plaid and makes too many references to television and movies? I don't know where you would have gotten that idea. Noah is the beloved monologuer, which hopefully is just as much fun for John to film as it is for us to watch. But something else I have learned from MTV is to always be cautious in who you love, because in MTV dramas, they're more than likely going to be ripped away from you terribly and emotionally. MTV knows their demographic. They know that there's a whole bunch of us sitting out here completely in love with Noah's character. We're really, really hoping that he doesn't get written off either because he's dead or he gets arrested because he's the one murdering everyone in town. That would kind of suck. One of the only reasons I'm comfortable saying that Noah isn't the killer is because of the way they filmed Riley's death, which I'm still super upset about. Because of the way they filmed Riley's death, we know that Noah wasn't there. Noah cannot possibly be the person that stabbed Riley. But that doesn't necessarily mean he wasn't involved. In just about all of the Scream movies, there were 2 killers. So it's not completely out of the question to assume that what's happening on MTV Scream right now is the collaboration between 2 people, sort of like Will and Jake. But I don't think it's them. Whether or not Noah knows it, there are a lot of different ways that we can see that he's sort of linked to the crimes, and it's making me very, very nervous. Either because that means that he is willingly involved, or someone might be trying to make it look like he's involved. 1. That random line he has about his school project to Riley for his stargazing app that can just access all other phones and mobile devices. The last time I heard about a device that could access every mobile phone was in Dark Knight, and Morgan Freeman said it was unethical, and I tend to agree with Morgan Freeman. It also sounds suspiciously close to the malware on Mr. B's computer that's somehow accessing and sending out all of these videos via virus to everyone else's computers and mobile devices. They might not be related, but they also could be related, and the possibility of that is terrifying. There's also a tiny thing that probably doesn't mean anything, but because it's MTV always could mean something. The clip at the end of the pilot had that bit where Noah swept his hand across his head and left the little red mark on his forehead. When we watched the pilot, we were all like, oh my god, it's blood! He probably just hurt someone. And then you watch the second episode and find out, no, it's just spray paint, because he was spray painting Jake's car, which was awesome. But a very similar thing showed up when Emma and Audrey went to the hospital when they found the Brandon James face spray painted on the hospital doors. and immediately decided that meant the killer had been there. But that red spray paint looked a lot like the red spray paint that Noah used on the car, and I don't think that all red spray paints necessarily have to be related, but the shots for the show are chosen very, very carefully, and that spray paint easily could have been any other color. But instead they decided to go with the same red that Noah used on Jake's truck, which leads me to believe that it is the same spray paint can, even if Noah wasn't the one behind it. There's also all the obvious nonsense about how much Noah knows about Brenda James's family and how he's been in contact with people of his family. Hopefully, none of this means anything. Hopefully these are just little coincidences that have been thrown in along the way to make us nervous and suspicious, because we all know that MTV is really good at doing that. But just in case they're not, it's important to keep them in mind. I don't want to see Noah turn out to be the killer. I don't want to see him go to jail. I don't want to see him die, because I would love for John to stick around for season 2. Hopefully Noah stays off the killer's hit list, and hopefully you guys like this video. You can catch MTV Scream on Tuesdays at 10/9 Central if you're not already watching, which you should be. If you guys are interested, I will continue making these videos as the season goes on. Our own little real-world autopsy of a crime as we try and figure out who the Lakewood killer is, along with all the Lakewood teenagers. So good luck tonight, and we'll see you next week. Shing!